Hi everyone, I'm Madeline and I'm very excited to talk with everyone about the museum artifact that I've chosen to do. I had a couple of ideas for my artifact, but I decided to go through with Harry Styles as my artifact. I chose him for a multitude of reasons, which mainly stem from his style of clothing. He has such a very unique style, as you'll see throughout my presentation, and afterwards I'm sure you all will agree why I think he should be part of our Queer Theory Museum. So, we most famously know Harry Styles from joining a band known as One Direction. And at the time of Harry Styles' exposure to fame, he was a young man traveling the world with his band. Well, however, in 2017, shortly after the band had broken up, Harry kind of dropped off the earth for a little bit. He disappeared from the music and film industry for a while when suddenly he released a new music video out of thin air, essentially, which caused his fan base and essentially any part of social media platforms to wonder Harry Styles' involvement with the LGBTQ community because of the style and the activities of how this music video was portrayed. However, this wasn't entirely new, as Harry Styles was known to flash the gay or the rainbow flag at his concerts or in photos, kind of showing that he was portrayed as an ally to the LGBTQ community. This began conversation about Harry's sexuality, as in if he was gay or if he was bi, straight, what was his sexuality? It started that conversation up. So what would Harry Styles' sexuality be from looking at this music video, because they hadn't heard or seen anything from him in so long? So while Harry has not confirmed his sexuality, it is still up for debate, essentially. And just using that music video for clues has left a lot of the fans restless, as you can imagine. But subsequently, as Harry progressed in the music industry once again, his style began to change in a way that would be considered against societal norms, as you'll see later in my presentation. As we can see in the photos, the attire that Harry wears isn't considered manly or considered appropriate for what a man would wear in society. There's a feminine beauty about his style that definitely goes against the gradient of societal norms. And as you can see in the photos, Harry has his nails painted, which is seen as a more feminine activity than a male activity or accessory, if you will. In addition to this, if we observe the types of clothes Harry is wearing in these photos, we then ask ourselves, what is it about either the lace, the patterns, the flow or fluidity of Harry's attire that makes it so feminine? It makes me question, how are things decided or determined what is feminine and what is masculine clothing? And Harry had a similar thought on this too. He stated in one of the articles that borders are being broken down in fashion, music, art, and film, and people are looking for these gender norms, or aren't looking for these gender norms anymore. Even if there is feminine and masculine categories that still exist, their limits are being pushed. I thought this was beautifully put, because Harry himself has been subjected to criticism for his style. As I'm sure you can see throughout this presentation, there are plenty of examples of how his style in societal norm would be considered feminine. Later on, there's fishnet tights, his dresses from a couple of his music videos, there's a ballerina costume. The loose flowiness of his outfits and the patterns accentuate a more feminine appearance, where societal norms do not find this acceptable because Harry is a man and should address as such and not wear and flaunt feminine attire as if he were a woman. Harry is pushing those limits for what is masculine and feminine, and he does have a strong support system, but he also does have a strong opposing group. But yet he doesn't let it define who he is and change what he believes. He is carrying through with what he believes and portrays that through his clothing. He knows that his style is challenging gender and societal norms with his style, and he isn't afraid to push forward with that. I think Harry Styles would fit perfectly in the Queer Museum as an artifact for fashion and style, and we can tell that he's willing to push the limits for what is normal, feminine and masculine, and what is acceptable in the eyes of society. Thank you.